It's our honor to interview Robert W. Rudy, who was born August 3rd, 1920. Bob served in the Air Force during the World War II conflict from July 1942 to November 1945 and achieved the rank of Staff Sergeant. Today is December 11th, 2012, and we are at Clifford Thompson American Legion Post 43 in Troy, Ohio. This interview is being conducted by Tona Francis and assisted by Paul Holt as part of the Veteran History Project in connection with the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress and under the sponsorship of the Clifford Thompson American Legion Post 43 and Miami County Veterans History Project. Good afternoon, Bob. We want to thank you for adding your military experiences through this interview. To begin, we would like to provide some general background information about yourself and your family. Where were you born?
August 3rd, 1920.
Where at?
And I was born in Piqua High.
Okay. In a house or at the hospital?
In the hospital.
Okay. You were born at home in Covington, Ohio.
Well,
okay. We want to make sure we
I was born in Memorial Hospital in Piqua. I drove from Covington over to the hospital.
No, you misunderstood the. Are we on interview?
That's okay.
I think you misunderstood the question. Where were you born?
Where were you born?
Not our kids.
In Piqua.
Were you born in Covington, Ohio?
Actually, I was born in Memorial Hospital in Piqua.
Okay.
No.
Okay. And how about your family? Your mom and dad? What were their names? James
Arthur Rudy and Reva Marie Rudy.
And what did your father do for a living?
He had a grain elevator in Covington.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. And your mom?
Well, she was a home builder.
Homemaker. Uh-huh. And did you have brothers or sisters?
I have a sister.
And her name?
Janice Kiefer.
Okay. And what were you doing before you entered the service?
I was going over to Ohio State.
You went to the Ohio State University?
Mm-hmm.
And what were you studying?
Agriculture.
Okay. And did you graduate from there?
Yes.
Okay. What year? Do you recall?
I think 1942.
Awesome. And then what did you do when you graduated?
I went to work at Covington, Ohio.
At the elevator?
Yeah, at the elevator.
Okay. Did you weigh trucks or did you keep records?
Yeah, I kept records of flight officers flying time, so they got their pay and all that sort of thing.
Okay, that was in the service though, but when you were at Covington, did you do several jobs plus writing information down for the elevator?
That was later.
No,
Okay, okay,
So we ought to do the service first.
okay. Okay, did you have any other family members that were in the military? Any uncles?
I don't know.
No? Okay. So how did you enter the service? Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I was enlisted.
Okay. Do you know what year that was?
I think 1942.
I showed July 1942 through November of 1945 you were in the service. And were you married before you went to the service?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your wife's name?
Bonnie Dell.
Okay. And after you got married, then you went to where? Did you go to boot camp?
No, I took all my training at Wright Patterson Field.
Okay. And then what happened after your training at Wright Pat?
I served the entire war down there and was discharged there. I enlisted there and was discharged.
Okay. So you were in the Air Force since you went to Wright Pat, is that correct? Okay. So your training took place right where you were working then? Okay, so you didn't go anyplace else, any other
No.
state, okay? What kind of specialized training did you take?
Well, I was familiar with instrument flying and all that sort of thing. Helped officers with schooling information, and I coordinated the enlistment forces with the top officers down at Wright Patterson Field and that sort of thing.
Okay. Were they coming out of boot camp? Is that where you got them from?
Well, some of them were, and some of them were strictly enlistment. Never.
Okay.
A variety.
Okay. So how did you have a hard time adapting to military life then?
Nothing other than the fact I was married and never knew I was going to get shipped to some other station.
I see. So you lived on base down at Wright Pat?
Part of the time, and then I was able to get permission to live off base.
Okay. After a few years, or?
Well, after I'd been in there at least probably a year and a half to.
Basically.
Okay, after basic? Okay, okay. So, you worked at Wright Pat, was World War II already going on, or had it started yet?
The war was going on.
Okay. When you were in college, was the war going on?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened then?
Well, I was fortunate enough to get married and not get shipped away from Wright Patterson Field, where I enlisted.
Okay.
And I got permanently stationed there,
Okay.
which was a plus.
Yes, very much so.
But it was because you volunteered one afternoon to do a job that no one else wanted to do, and you got to stay.
Okay, so when you were getting your shots for the service, did they ask for when you got your shots for the service, did they ask for volunteers?
Yeah.
And that's how you got your job?
I suppose. I don't remember that.
I think she's talking about the afternoon when you were waiting to go overseas and you'd had your shots. And they asked if anybody would volunteer to do an office job. I
Okay.
think that's what she's referring
Yes,
to.
yes.
Okay.
Should I let in?
You can. You're fine.
She's got a better memory than I have.
Some days they're better than other days, those memories. So you didn't get to witness any action or anything like that. You probably heard lots of stories, maybe?
Oh yeah, a lot of them coming back from India and so forth. We've been overseas, and yeah, I was very fortunate.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. Everybody had to do their part, though. And you were doing your part.
I hope so.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So can you tell us a day-to-day what you actually did?
Well,
Did you work 8 to 5? Did you work 11 to 7?
sometimes,
Okay, all depended?
yeah.
Okay. What was a regular day for you?
7:30 to 5:30, something like that.
Okay. And what would you do? You'd go in at a desk, and then you would do what?
I'd make out flight clearances. In other words, with the control tower, what planes, what the plane, how much fuel they had, and who was the pilot, what training, all that sort of thing. All that information.
For each flight that went out?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So you had a lot of different papers you filled out.
Well, you had to either do that, or a lot of it was verbal with the control tower.
Okay. So this entailed someone telling you what was on that plane? How did you know that?
I knew they had to. I had to sign who was all on there.
But how did you know that?
Volunteered. They volunteered, and I talked to them like I'm talking to you, like you were gonna. There were some wax on there.
Uh-huh.
Women's Auxiliary Corps.
Uh-huh.
And
So people would come into your office and they would talk to you and then you would fill out the flight information? Okay. So you talked to several people then? Or did one person from each flight come in and tell you everything you needed to know?
whoever was in charge of those persons that came in.
I see. So what was on some of those planes? Can you tell us?
Well, there was a pilot, a co-pilot, engineer, maybe one or two other assistants in the same field.
Uh-huh. A backup, maybe?
Yeah. So, but it was all out of Wright-Patterson Field.
Okay.
At Dayton.
Okay. Were there certain days they took equipment out and certain days they took troops out? Or how did that work?
They do that certain days, and then they would send RON. RON was remain overnight while so I knew where they were stationed, whether it was in this country or whether it was over Germany,
Okay.
someplace like that.
So they would leave Wright-Pat and they would fly over to Europe
Yeah.
and then they would fill back up, empty out, fill back up and come back, or come back empty?
It all depends on what orders. Sometimes orders get changed, and so it varies.
I see.
Well, each flight is different of its own,
Right.
and I had to connect the information with their family, usually their
With
wife and children.
Oh, you would tell, like, if a sergeant went over, you would report back to the wife that he was going to Europe? You couldn't tell him any more than that? Or could you tell him where they were going?
It all depends on what this situation was.
I see. If it was top secret, you just knew they were going away.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, what kind of things did you entail each day? You probably saw a lot of different things. Is there anything special that stands out?
Well, I keep their flight records. That's their Form 5. That's a record of all flights that they took, how much fuel they had, and all that sort of thing, in case anything would happen. And a lot of our pilots got transferred from here to India or overseas elsewhere.
And do you know why that happened, or?
Well, that's whatever was needed, military-wise or Air Force-wise, or whatever was going on.
I see.
It was very interesting.
It sounds it. Do you remember anything special that ever happened there? Or maybe more than one occasion that happened?
Well, we lost some people that were involved in air crashes,
Overseas or here?
overseas.
Okay.
One fellow I really liked, and he was teaching me on the side about flying, and he lost the plane, and engines went 15 feet in the ground. His wife was at the hospital, ready to have baby and all that sort of thing.
Oh
A
my.
lot of experiences like that.
Uh-huh. So he went down over in Europe?
No, he went down in this country,
Okay.
but a lot of them did overseas.
Uh-huh. Was it the same people flying all the time, so you always talked to the same people back and forth? Or did you have a lot of change?
Well, a lot of, yeah, there was a change of military pilots and so forth, and some of them had enough time overseas that they were able to get early discharge or whatever.
Okay. So, like, say someone left on a Tuesday, would they always come back the next week or within the same week with that plane?
Depends on what the
Depends on the mission?
situation was.
Okay.
In other words, it's a little different from week to week.
Right. That would make it interesting, I would think.
Some of the pilots qualified with certain aircraft were transferred over to see overseas, Europe or Germany,
Uh-huh.
and
So sometimes they flew different types of
Yeah,
planes
yeah.
and they changed them out. I see. Most of the planes that left Wright Pat, were they like huge that they had all kinds of cargo, or were they fighters?
they were both ways.
Okay.
See, Wright Patterson Field was connected with the other Patterson Field,
Across the street.
right down on Route 4.
Okay.
They were connected.
Okay.
So, and then the head office was in between Wright Pat and Patterson Field. So it was all kind of tied together.
Okay. Was it different planes? Like one was for bigger planes and one was for smaller planes, or?
Well, they had the pursuit planes,
Okay.
and then they had the bombers, and the pilots get checks out on all of them, you know,
Uh-huh.
depending on what they were in the service for, the Air Force.
I see. Did you ever go over to Europe during any point
I
in
was
time?
over Europe, but not military-wise.
Okay. You went over to just see the country. Okay. Okay. So other than that, you were at Wright Pat the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any more specialized training during your time with the service? Or just the training? Well, you had Ohio State,
Yeah.
but that was different from what you were going to do in the service. So,
Oh, yeah. I took military at Ohio State. What did I take? I was.
you took agriculture classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was ROTC, Reserve
Oh.
Officer
Okay.
Training Corps.
And that was at Ohio State?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just always thought that was at high schools, but that's nice.
Oh, high schools.
Yeah, it's at high schools now, at some.
Oh,
Yeah.
not then.
Yeah.
But we'd go back.
Yeah. So did you form any friendships during your time at Wright Pat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People that were from Covington or from all over the world?
From all over the world.
Anyone in particular you want to share?
Well, yeah, there's some of them I consider good friends, and we socialized with them socially sometimes, you know, getting them away from the military all the time,
Uh-huh.
because we lived off the post.
Right.
I got permission to live off it.
Now, did you live in Fairborn or did you live in Covington?
Neither one. I lived
Oh.
in between.
Okay. Okay.
Between Wright Field and Springfield.
Okay. How long did you live there? Just when you were in the service?
I was in about 4 years
Okay.
service.
Okay.
Oh,
And where were you when the war ended then?
Went the same place.
Okay. Did they have any celebrations here at home when the men would come home?
They had a lot of parades and so forth. I
Okay.
didn't participate in all the parades or that sort of thing.
Did each town like have something like that, or just one big one in Dayton or Fairborn, or?
They had them different places.
Okay.
Covington.
Okay.
May I suggest you might tell them who our first daughter's name? You named our first daughter.
You what?
You were in the service. Did you have children while you were in the service?
Yeah, I had all four of them.
Well, who'd you name Patricia Jean after?
Hmm?
Who did you name our first daughter Patricia Jean after?
I named Patricia Jean, she's talking about, after the wife of my commanding officer, who was a good pilot. She was a very pretty young woman, so I named my oldest daughter after her.
Did you tell your wife that when you were picking that name out?
She knew.
Oh, she did
We
know.
were good friends.
Okay, okay. So did you have all your children while you were in the service, or some afterwards?
Did I have all four of them? I had two or three of them.
Okay. And what's their names? Who's your oldest child?
Patricia Jean,
Okay, and then who?
Roberta Jane,
Okay,
Robert Weber Rudy,
okay,
James William Rudy.
okay. 2 girls and 2 boys. Nice. And how did you name the other children? Anybody else in the service? How'd you pick those names?
I don't know.
Okay. I didn't know if you had another friend that you liked the person's name or liked the person.
Okay, who'd you name our son after, Robert? Who'd you name our son after,
Okay.
Robert?
Okay.
Robert.
Well, we named, okay.
When you got married before you entered the service, where did you get married at?
Over at our state.
Oh my. Okay. And is there a story with that?
Did I what?
Do you have a story about getting married before the service?
Oh, I probably had a lot of them, but I forgot about them.
How about when you told my mother we wanted to get married?
When you told your mother-in-law you were going to get married?
Yeah, but she said, "Oh, I can't get ready by then."
It was 1 week.
1 week.
Well,
Oh.
we're going to be married in their home
Okay.
instead of being married in a church or so.
So how did it turn out? Were you married in a church or
No, married in the home.
married in the home? Okay.
In 1 week.
So it can be done in a week.
Hmm?
So it can be done in a week, getting ready to get married.
Well, she had to clean the house first.
Oh, that's important. When you're having company, that's important.
That's good.
Well, did you have any recreation or off-duty pursuits?
Off duty?
Yeah, when you were off duty, did you and the guys go out anywhere, or because you were married, you just went home?
Variety of things.
I see.
Who were our best friends?
Who were your best friends?
Best friends would be some.
Major Stites. Major Stites. Do you remember him?
I can hear you.
Major Stites and Jean.
Steve?
Yeah. And remember Jean's husband?
Jean.
Your friend. Oh, well, go ahead.
Major
You mean
Stites?
Joe Major Favor? Gene Favor?
Yeah.
So you ran around with a major.
Yeah, it was odd.
Yeah.
That's a nice friend to have.
Yeah, well,
They like
we
to
were
eat, you know.
fraternity brothers in high school, or in college,
Okay,
but we were in different branches of service.
I
That's
see.
right. Well, Brent. he
Different
was
areas
officer.
per se, yeah, yeah. So did you ever go to USO shows? Did they have anything like that back here?
Yeah.
Okay.
USA parties and so forth.
USO shows?
Yeah.
So they had those here at Wright Pat?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see anybody that was really exciting? Did you ever see Bob Hope?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. In our office, a lot of celebrities. Frances Langford.
Okay.
You ever hear of her?
No.
That's right.
She was about the time Bob Hope was pretty well known.
Okay.
You've heard of Bob Hope.
Oh, yes. So you really didn't have any trouble with adjusting to civilian life because you really weren't gone. You were here the whole time.
Yeah.
But you did hear a lot of stories. Is there any stories you might want to share with us from pilots or soldiers that came back and told you things? Or
No. It's a bad. You checked out some pilots and they flew overseas somewhere, and then you heard that they had bad luck or ran into a mountain.
oh my,
Those things happened all the time.
I see. So that made it hard to even have friendships if that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever learn to fly from your friend?
A little bit on her side.
Okay. So you never owned your own plane then?
Huh?
Did you ever own your own plane?
No. No.
Okay, okay.
His son joined the Air Force, though.
Okay. Were any of your children in the service?
Marwa?
Were any of your children in the service? Your daughters or sons? Did they
No.
join the service?
No.
Bob went to the Air Force.
Who?
Did your son Bob go to the Air Force?
Yeah, how long was he in? I forget about it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, he
Year and a
did.
half or so.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. I had my oldest son went in the service, yeah.
Okay.
He flew with him.
Was he in during a war?
Not during, when the war was on, but he didn't do any military flying, I
Okay.
don't think.
He stayed here in the States?
Yeah,
Okay. But he was ready in case they needed him then?
I guess.
Okay. Do you have any grandchildren that might be in the service? Well, you just had a grandchild.
I don't think,
You just had your first
I
grandchild?
don't think so.
Okay. Okay. And what did you have yesterday?
Yesterday,
Yeah, what happened yesterday?
What we just find out about an hour or two ago. Who had a baby?
Did your daughter or son or
Rev.
daughter-in-law have a baby?
How about Rev?
who?
Rev. Revan.
Revere.
Revan.
Well, he was a nephew.
He's your grandson.
Grandson.
Your grandson had his first baby.
Okay,
Okay. So now you're a great-grandpa.
yeah. I'm getting older every day.
I know, that happens. It does happen. Do you think you learned any wartime experiences that affected your life?
Well, I thought I was very fortunate to have my service here in this country and not be overseas and so forth.
Be in the fighting and all that. I didn't know if you might have learned any life lessons from the military. Think you learned anything?
I hope I did.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. Because when you left the service, where did you go then?
I went back to a family business,
Okay, and what's the name of that?
grain elevator.
Rudy's Elevator?
Yeah,
How many elevators do you have?
Well, we have two right now.
Okay, one in Covington, and where else?
West Milton.
Okay. And do you still help out day-to-day operations, or do you go in and check on people?
Yeah, I go in and check on them.
That's good. That's good. So did you ever farm besides having the elevator?
Yeah, I learned to farm a little bit from my mother's father.
Okay.
Grandfather.
Before you went to school? Before you went to college?
During the same time.
Okay. So did you have horses back then, or did you have a tractor?
Most, and we even had mules.
Awesome. They did the work too. How many acres do you think you had, or did you work?
Well, they were my grandfather's farms.
Okay. But you helped there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know how many acres he might have had?
Well, I didn't own them. He probably had 1,000 or a little more.
Okay. Okay. Did you have any animals?
Well, we had some mules, we had horses, we even had some donkeys, we had goats.
No cattle? Or did you have some cattle?
Yeah.
Okay. Chickens?
Hmm?
Chickens?
Not many chickens.
Okay. Because that is your livelihood. That's where you got your food most of the time on a farm.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of experiences, I think. You graduated from Covington High School,
Hmm?
and then you went to the Ohio State University, graduated, and went into the service. And then you came back to your community and helped on the family business.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any memberships in any organizations, the VFW or AMVETS or the Legion, American Legion?
I had some membership. Wasn't very too active in those things.
Uh-huh. You probably didn't have a whole lot of time for that.
Well,
Of course, your elevator, is that seasonal?
yeah.
Or is that all year round?
Pretty. Well, it's
It's all year, but seasonal
both
too,
ways.
but seasonal, longer
Either
hours.
busy or, yeah, busy or not so busy, yeah. Because you probably sold feed there at your elevator besides having the grain come in.
Yeah. All right.
Right. Okay. Was there any other stories you might want to share with us today?
No, it's hard to tell.
Sometimes they're hard to remember, aren't they?
Yeah.
And other days you can remember them just like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank you for your service time, and I want to thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
You're welcome.